Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina, a holistic approach for mental, physical, and spiritual well being so you can become the best version of yourself. Welcome to Transparent with Tina. I am Tina Marks, your host. Today's guest is a 6-time award winning emotional intelligence business strategist, coach, international speaker, best-selling author, and community leader with over 20 years of experience building 6- and 7-figure businesses with result-focused income generating strategies. She helps entrepreneurs and business owners make more money, feel more fulfilled, and experience personal and financial freedom, which is what we're all looking for.
Exactly.
Welcome, Michaela. Yeah,
Yes.
I got it. Oh my God, my first try. That was a tough one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Passati. Is that close enough?
Passati. Passati. The accent is on the A, but it's okay.
Passati. Okay. Well, anyway, welcome. I am so excited for you to be here. I have so many questions, and I know that my audience is just going to eat this up. So before we get into everything about everything that the work that you do, tell us your backstory and how you got into this
Mhm.
work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long story, but I'll try to keep it really short. I was born and raised in Florence, Italy. Had a really great childhood. However, there's a lot of cultural family dynamics that imprinted in my conditioning to feel not good enough, to not be confident enough, to not love myself, to sacrifice everything, to feel that, to have this kind of lumen, no, lumen doom,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
lumen doom type of outlook. And so when I had an opportunity, my parents gave me an opportunity when I turned 21 to move to the US to go to college. I took it. But at the time, I didn't know anything about subconscious mind. I didn't know anything about, personal development and self-love and self-empowerment and anything like that. So I brought all of my emotional baggage with me to the new life that I started here in the US. It's been now 33 plus years ago. I've lost count. And so my journey, once I got here, I had some really clear ideas on what it is that I wanted to do and what I wanted to create, but I always found just difficulty, whether it was, feeling scared to initiate things, whether it was holding back from connecting with people, whether it was being embarrassed of, selling, whatever, you name it.
Hmm.
It's kind of like the general malaise of
Hmm.
entrepreneurship, right? We've all had it at some point. And so I was started noticing that I wanted to achieve things, wanted to arrive somewhere, but I was in this kind of like stuck place. I wasn't moving forward. I was spinning my wheels. I felt lost. I felt dejected. I just couldn't figure out how to get out. And so I started delving deep into personal development. I went to experiences in Bali. I did a bunch of courses, uh, you know, had many coaches, things like that. And I found that every modality that I was a client with that I used worked. It gave me something. However, it wasn't until I've tried Emotion Code that I understood the deep connection between emotions and what we create in our 3D reality. Because what I found when I, as a client, went through the process of disconnecting myself from my emotional baggage and disconnecting myself from the conversation that I had made when I experienced those negative emotional events, everything opened up for me. And so that is basically how I started my journey into personal development and into becoming a coach. Because once I knew where I was, I knew I was living this doom and gloom um, type of life. I knew I was limited and limiting myself. And then after doing this work, I saw what I created. It was like from a cloudy day to a sunny day. That was the
Hmm.
difference.
Hmm.
So that's when I said, okay, look, I want every woman to have this experience because we all get to be free. And that's really what I felt I did for myself is I freed myself from the shackles of the past. And obviously, we're always growing because if we're not growing, we're dying. So there's
Mhm.
always more, right? So I always keep a learning and open mindset to keep learning, keep growing, and keep seeking. But the big chunk of what was holding me back, I was able to free myself from. And
Which was?
it was basically that I had this idea of myself that I was unlucky, that I was not good enough, that I was not pretty enough, I was not smart enough, wasn't capable, that that if everything that I tried wasn't going to work. Like, was that idea of kind of
And that
inact
was something that was learned in childhood.
yeah, that was learned in
Right.
childhood.
Okay.
So
And
this feeling of inadequacy.
right. And when you said once you learned how to detach from your emotions, everything opened up, right? So your emotions come from your thoughts, right?
No, it's the other way around. Your emotions are actually the first line, I call it the first line of defense. When a human being experiences a an event, the emotion is what we feel first because the emotion is the energetic surge that comes through
Okay.
the body. Then
Yes.
we make up a thought. We make up a thought of that experience. So
Okay.
let's say we have the wave of anger that comes up,
Uh-huh.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Pissed off at somebody. Then we have this opinion,
We
conjecture.
label it.
Yeah, we label it judgment, whatever it is,
Uh-huh.
that's the thought. Then from the thought, we create a feeling. From the feeling, we take action or we don't take action. And that's how emotions are connected to our results. That's how we create in our 3D reality is through the impetus of the emotion and then what is birthed from that.
Right, exactly. Okay. So and these emotions and experiences and then thoughts get stored in our subconscious mind, right?
Yeah. Right. So the thought that so first of all, we have this surge of energy, right? But it's linked to a thought. That thought, together with the surge of energy,
Mm-hmm.
can be trapped in the subconscious because we are really made to allow the energy to come through and leave, come through and leave.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Sometimes it
Yes.
comes through and it gets stuck somewhere in our emotional, energetic body. That's what we call trapped emotions. So, for example, when I work with people and let's say we're uncovering blocking, what's blocking them from more money, let's say, right? And maybe it's, abandonment, the emotion of abandonment. Then we got to find out, well, when did that happen? How old were they when they trapped that emotion? Because we're constantly experiencing emotions every
Mm-hmm.
single day from
Mm-hmm.
the day that we're born, right? So depending on how old we are and how traumatic our life has been, we could have anywhere between 300 to 500, 600 trapped emotions. So when we identify the emotion and the year, not the year, sorry, the age that happened, then the individual can start thinking and remembering, okay, wait a minute. Oh, I remember. Okay, around, let's say age 10, XYZ happened. My dad left, right? My mom,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
my best friend left, whatever, right? We made something up about ourselves and the world based on that experience.
Mm-hmm.
That is what gets imprinted in the subconscious.
Yes.
And that is what we carry through our life into our future and what is now in our present. Those conversations, and there are many, those are what block us. Those are what hold us back because they're running unconsciously. We're not conscious about it. So when I was telling you about my story, I wasn't conscious about all of that. I can talk about it now and tell you that it was all of my conditioning from my family, how my dad treated me, how my peers treated me, what I was exposed to as a society in Italy, right? That type of
Mm-hmm.
culture. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then certain traumatic events, things like all those things define me, conditioned me. But why? Because I made something up about myself in the world because of me going through them.
Right, exactly. And how you handled at that age oftentimes was fantastic because that was a survival mechanism. But what happens is that doesn't suit us and it doesn't further us in our lives anymore. So we need to identify it, reframe it,
Yep.
right? Is reframe it. So it sounds like a blend of psychology, getting to the subconscious mind, right? Because psychology is like going back in time, and then figuring that out. And with your with what you do, once you get to the root of, let's say, one identity,
Hmm.
is it plucked forever, or does it come back? Do you have to keep it? It's gone forever.
It's gone prior. So it is actually there is some psychology in it, but it's not talk therapy, right?
Right,
Because
right.
we all know that there are many people who have been in therapy for 20 years and they're still talking about the same thing. So talk therapy can have has its place and can serve, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not quantum, it's not fast, right?
Right.
So what I do is a combination of neurolinguistic programming, which
Okay.
is a reprogramming part, right? And emotion code. So, emotion code is an energy healing modality that allows the practitioner to identify the energy that's still stuck in the subconscious, the age, and then help the individual process it through so that it's gone forever. When we do that with through emotion code and we release the trapped emotion, so for example, let's go back to the example of abandonment at age 10. That trapped emotion of abandonment in age 10 will be gone forever. It's done. The energy will leave the body. However,
Okay.
you could have abandonment at age 5. You could have abandonment at age 20. You could have multiple abandonments. It's just depending on what age. Also, at age 10, you could have multiple trapped emotions. You could have a trapped emotion of abandonment, but you could also have a trapped emotion of betrayal at the same time as of abandonment, right?
Hmm.
So
So my doctor
we
says that we don't die from old age, we die from inflammation. And I couldn't agree more. When I found him a couple of years ago, I was not in great shape. I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and he found out it was all related to my gut. Did you know that 90% of your dopamine and 90% of your serotonin are made in your gut? Okay. So I have been on all of his products ever since that day. But the ones that I want to talk to you about are the alkalizers. He's got one for coffee and he's got one for alcohol. What do? They make the beverage from acidic to alkaline, which is so important because if your body is too acidic, it is a breeding ground for disease. So you want to keep your body in an alkaline balance. So with the coffee, it comes either for black coffee or it comes flavored as a creamer. I love the flavored ones. Vanilla is my favorite, but I also love the hazelnut. They're all delicious. One scoop, and it does not break your fast for one. It changes your body, your coffee from acidic to alkaline, which you don't have to feel guilty about drinking coffee anymore. And the one for alcohol does the same thing. 5 drops into any alcoholic beverage, and it will make it from acidic to alkaline, meaning no hangover. It doesn't change the taste, it doesn't change the color, and best of all, it doesn't change the buzz. You can still drink and enjoy yourself, all the while knowing that you're not causing inflammation in your body. So go to www.getoffyouracid.com and use the promo code Tina Marks 20.
we experience emotions on a regular basis and sometimes together. And so that's why we're a very interesting web of energy with, judgments, right, about ourselves, thought processes about ourselves, and memories. And that is part of what we get to do is we get to uncondition ourselves through understanding what are still the hooks from our past, because our conscious mind can only hold 10% of what we know. So the 90% is held in the subconscious, which means that you
Ah,
are not conscious about these triggers. They're happening unbeknownst to you.
yes, exactly.
And
Exactly.
because they're unconscious, you need something from outside to help you see it. Does that make
Absolutely.
sense?
Exactly. Exactly. And,
Oh,
like I was just saying this the other day, oftentimes when we're triggered, it's not what we think, it's not the person, it's an event that happened a long time ago. So, like, we're really not arguing about what we think we're arguing about. It's a trapped emotion.
exactly.
Exactly. And, I know that uh, we're just energy beings. And I wrote in my first book about this, about how if we could only ride the feeling all the way to completion. But most of the time, what we do is at the height of the pain,
we
we let
react.
go, and that's where it gets stuck in our body. But like you said in the beginning, it's meant to go the full cycle.
Exactly.
And if we do you teach that too? How to like ride motion
Oh,
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
way
yeah.
through so that
Absolutely.
that doesn't keep happening, so we don't get more trapped emotions going forward.
Absolutely. Yeah. What I teach people is really to observe. It's really observing what's happening to you. What's observing your bodily feelings.
Hmm.
Sometimes it could be functions too. Some people have, everybody is different, so everybody reacts differently to emotions. And observe the thoughts. So observing how you're feeling within your body and observing your thought, like you're this third party.
Oop, what happened? Are you there? Can you hear me?
I don't know what happened. You still
Yeah,
there?
I see you now, but you're frozen.
Oh, okay. I can see you.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
something happening with the internet.
Yeah.
Um, So what I was saying was, yeah, so it's about observing because when you can observe yourself, you're taking that beat, that
Oh,
pause
okay.
to then respond instead of react. And that's really the distinction, is to respond instead of react. And that is one of the distinctions of emotional intelligence.
Exactly, exactly. That sound okay. Can you go in a little bit with the NLP? Because in case people don't know, so you're using emotional code, and then you're using uh, NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. So can you explain that to people who don't understand what that is?
Yeah, actually, I created my own modality called Emotional Ninja, which is a combination between emotion code and neurolinguistic programming.
Okay.
Neurolinguistic programming, otherwise known as NLP, is a way to kind of hijack your brain in a good way, right? Because the brain, neuroscience tells us that the brain's duty is to predict based on the past. So, because we are recording everything that happens to us, right? The brain, and especially we're recording things that don't feel good, right? The brain will remember and will want to compare to past events. So, for example, just going to give you an example. In business, right? Many people have issues with making sales calls or having sales conversations,
Hmm.
right? And the reason is because there's a fear of rejection, fear of ridicule, fear of what people are going to think about them, right? So it's fear of judgment, things like that. Um, if in the in if in somebody's past they have experienced some sort of negative experience, negative emotion with judgment, ridicule, and
Well,
rejection.
who hasn't? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why pretty much everybody doesn't like to sell. Um, the brain will recall that and say, "Ooh, that didn't feel good."
Hmm.
And this is all happening like that, and it's all happening unconsciously. But it'll predict based on what it remembers. So it remembers it didn't feel good, so then it'll predict what's going to happen next. It's like, okay, I didn't feel good then. This feels similar. That's
So
what's going to
why would I want to
happen.
do it? Yeah.
Yeah, let me avoid, run away, self-sabotage, right? So then there's these unconscious behaviors that happen because that's what the brain is doing. It's predicting based on the past.
Yes. Right.
So what neurolinguistic programming does, it allows you to kind of hijack the brain in a way that it creates a new neural pathway
Hmm.
to the old, which
Hmm.
is the ingrained behavior pattern, so
Hmm.
that then you can you basically start behaving along the new pattern and not the old pattern. And there's many different, this is very simplistic. This is a very simplistic explanation because there's very different ways to use NLP. There's very kind of sub modules within NLP that can
Right.
be used to support people in disconnecting themselves
Would
from.
some of those be breath work and binaural beats and affirmations with binaural beats? How do you rewire the brain? How do you rewire the neural
So,
pathways to
so those are not things that are part of NLP. There are specific exercises and things that practitioners will take their clients through.
uh-huh.
Um, but binaural beats with affirmations are totally powerful. Those are a tool that you
Hmm.
can use to reprogram the subconscious. Absolutely. Affirmations on their own. I use them with my clients. We create a book of what I call power affirmations, where they're actually they're paragraphs that are affirming what it is that the person is stepping into and what it is that they're wanting to create. Um, so yeah, so binaural beats, affirmations, the two of them together are absolutely tools.
Hmm.
Breath work, I wouldn't say it's a tool to reprogram, but it's a tool to find release
Right.
and
To
relief.
release and also bring your brain into like an alpha state, so it's a little bit more receptive, calm
Mhm.
the body down. Because I didn't even realize I have a lot of anxiety, and I just thought that was normal until I started realizing that that's not normal. My whole life I felt anxiety. So those things, I mean, I honestly have tried probably everything. And I know this is why I'm here and this is why I'm doing this podcast, because somebody like me who's always been a seeker since I was little, honestly, but and feel like I've tried almost everything. They all do something, but I'm
Okay.
waiting for the real breakthrough, right? And willpower just is not enough. It just is not enough. And I think it really depends on how much trauma you've had in your life. And even that, I didn't even give myself permission to accept that I went through a lot of trauma,
Yeah.
until one day I wrote down on just things that I was remembering. And I wasn't doing light things, I was doing big things. And I remember I had gotten to like 18
Wow.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, see, that's just the thing. I think I will always taught to push through and just push through the pain. And, you're
Yeah.
never,
Push through, ignore, sweep it under the rug. And because we're emotional beings, that's really, there should be a class in school that teaches kids how to manage their emotions and how
how to
to
manage their emotions. And,
yeah, and
and
how to
remember that,
understand to respond instead of react from a place of pain.
well, not only that, that we're human beings, as in being, as opposed to human doings.
Yeah.
And we've been taught do, more, everything. Okay. So the technique that you, created is marrying the business income generating strategies with emotional subconscious programming, because you've got two business degrees, correct? What are your degrees in?
Yeah, I have a general business degree and then I have an international business degree.
Okay. So the emotional money mastery, is that what we were just talking about?
No,
Or
what
is
we were
that
just talking
different?
about is just the internal work that I do with people, which is emotional ninja.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And
That's the 45-day
yeah,
course. And let's talk about that first. It's
okay.
45 days and it's go ahead. You tell us
Yeah,
what.
well, we can actually, the emotional ninja can be 45 or 90 days, depending
Okay.
on how much the person needs, maybe how much personal development they've already done, if they want to work on one thing or multiple things, right? So 90 days is always suggested just because it takes 90 days for a human being to identify a pattern, you know, replace the pattern and practice the new pattern, right? So it takes time, right?
Oh, I did not realize that 90 days. I thought it was like 28 days. So it's 90. Not
Uh,
to recognize it, but to change a pattern. I thought it was 28 days. So it's 90 days. Okay. So
well, no, I mean, it takes 28 days to change it, but it takes 90 days to go from the identification, the changing, and then the practicing of the new.
I to
So
fully integrate it. Okay.
exactly,
I
exactly.
gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. So let's start off with the emotional ninja. And that's once a how, it's group. It's a group session.
No, it's all one-on-one. At the moment, it's all
Oh,
one-on-one.
okay.
It's
And
all
so they
one-on-one.
meet with you?
Yep, we meet once a week
Okay.
for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Also get a 15-minute support call if they need support, if they have questions, something comes up. So we could potentially meet twice a week if the person needs. And then we just open up Pandora's box and we just go down the rabbit hole of the subconscious and see what it wants to release. And during that process, we're looking at what trapped emotions are stuck in the subconscious that are hooked into a specific pattern or behavior or feeling. We look at how old that person was, and then we understand what was made up, what was the conversation that was made up, and then we create a new conversation.
Okay, so that is more around your emotional life, right? Because then you have another one for
Well,
the
it's around your life in general, and because emotions affect us in everything that we do, when I work with people just on the internal kind of space,
Mhm.
we're looking at everything. So somebody could say, "Hey, I don't understand. I've been trying to, make six figures and I just can never get to it, right? What's that about?" And
Mhm.
you could take a look at what from the past is still connected to them, going for the goal but never reaching the goal, right?
Yes, right. Hey, real quick, let's talk about something we all deal with but never really think about. Electromagnetic radiation. Yeah, EMF. It's everywhere from our phones, laptops, Wi Fi routers, even our smart fit fridges. And no, I'm not saying ditch your tech. I mean, who could? But I am saying you can protect yourself from unnecessary exposure with Aries Tech. Backed by peer reviewed studies and independent testing, Aries Tech makes compact, science backed EMF modulation devices that help reduce the effects of electromagnetic radiation on your body. Rather than blocking the EMFs, Aries Tech's products work with your own body's electromagnetic field to balance out the effect. Yes, you heard that right. Our body is made up of energy, and this works with your own energy to balance out the effects. I've got one around my neck, one on my phone, and one in my living room. And honestly, it gives me peace of mind knowing I'm doing something small that can make a big difference over time. So, whether you're working from home, gaming for hours, or just scrolling your feed in bed, protect your space. Check them out at ariestech.com and use the code TINA25 for 25% off your order. That's AIRES tech.com because your body deserves better.
So that is something that people can work on whatever they want during the Emotional Ninja program. If they though want to have business advice and they want a business coach, then that's the Emotional Money Mastery, which marries
Oh, I
the
see.
Emotional Ninja with the business strategy. So
Got it.
then that way we put it together.
You put it to, okay. So one is for, and I just thought one was more financial. So that's not true. So one is emotional, which could be tied to financial. The other one is, let's say, for an entrepreneur that's creating a business, I need step by step. I've gotten to this point. Okay, perfect. And that
Yeah.
one's also 45 days to 90 days.
That one starts at 30 days and goes
Okay.
to 2 years. So you could be 30 days. Sorry, not 30 days, 90 days. It starts at 90 days, 3 months. So three
Yeah.
months, 6 months, 12 months, or 24 months.
Okay. So let me ask you, what could somebody expect out of 3 months of each different one? Like at the end of 3 months, what's somebody's life going to look like after they do the emotional ninja?
So with Emotional Ninja, first of all, I cannot say what's going to happen for anybody because
Mhm.
every single person is different. Their past is different. Their conditioning is different. Their thought patterns are different, right? So I cannot say exactly what people are going to experience. What I
Okay.
can say is what other people have experienced and what I've
Okay.
seen pattern. So the pattern is that people experience a lightness about themselves where they don't feel like they're being weighed down by something. They experience feeling more confident, more grounded in who they are, where they're going. They experience more clarity. Um, sorry, my little doggy wants to come and say hi. They experience more clarity. They will notice their behavior changing
Mm-hmm.
within that time.
Mm-hmm.
They'll notice that things don't bother them as they were before. They notice that they're not as reactive as they were before. So it really just differs depending on what one wants to work on, how traumatic your past is. It all varies. So, but those are the general things that one can experience.
Okay. And I would imagine that this would help with any kind of addiction as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because this is the reason people go to addictions, numb out, whatever, because the emotion is too powerful. So you learn
Yeah.
how to do that. And then,
Yeah.
so for the business, ninja,
So for the business, the emotional money mastery in the business, it depends on how long we're going to work together, right? So if we're working just a 90-day program, we're looking at one part of your business, one strategy, and we're completing it, right? We're implementing that strategy. I'm giving you advice, I'm giving you the steps, and I'm helping you along the way. Anything beyond that, so 6 months and above, we're working on multiple strategies. We're creating a business flow chart, meaning you're going to have a visual, digital painting of your business so that you see exactly where people are coming from. What are you offering? Where are they? How are you bringing somebody through your business?
okay,
Because you don't just want to sell something once. Usually a client can have a certain uh, longevity within your business. So they start out somewhere, but they end somewhere else, right? So that's what we work on that. We look at the 7 different strategies that any business needs to have. And we look at how those can be implemented.
okay,
And then we get you into action and
perfect.
test and tweak and we change things. We just work through it.
Okay. And you also run a women's business empowerment group called Global Women Club, both in Los Angeles and in Florence, Italy, with the intention to create a place for women to elevate themselves through that's how I met you, professional connections. So I think
Where?
that's how I was invited to the one in LA, I think, but I think it was too late. That's how I
Yeah.
think we originally got.
Are you here in LA?
I'm in Palm Desert, which is 2 hours
Oh,
away,
okay.
Palm Springs. So I
Okay.
think that's what it was. What do you do an event like once a year?
No, no, I do events. I do events every week, but maybe you came to one of I did do conferences.
No, I didn't. I couldn't make it. It had already passed. Are they in person?
Oh,
Are they, if you do it every month? Did you say?
yeah. Yep, I have my 8-year anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic. So how do
We're
people become
celebrating.
part of that?
Huh?
How do people become part of that?
They've got to, well, I have a link. But they can go to Global Woman, it's singular, so it's globalwomanclub.com and click on events, and then they can find the Los Angeles events there.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I do. I have done yearly conferences, but I don't have any happening in the near future. But I
Okay.
do monthly events. So we meet every month on the
Oh, then maybe I can make it to the next one. When's the next one? Do you know?
yeah, October 17th.
Okay, it's right around the corner. Perfect. All right, so let's talk about the emotional ninja assessment, which I filled mine out today.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Let's tell that's really where that's where everybody starts, right? To fill out this
Yeah,
assessment.
that's where everybody starts because I need to see some of the things, some of the triggers, some of the things that you're feeling that you need to work on or that you want to work on, or some of the triggers, so I can understand where you're at and where you want to go, right?
Oh,
It also tells me where you are on the emotional intelligence scale, if you're low, moderate, or high, which also tells me how open you are for this work and how much personal development you've done. So yeah, so it gives me some basic information, then we go through it. I give you my assessment of it, and then I give you my recommendations.
okay, that's fair, and it's a 30-minute call with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm going to share that in the notes because I'm not going to
Okay.
read out this whole link. Okay.
Um,
And then I think is there anything else that I didn't touch upon that we should touch upon?
I mean, no, we talked about a lot. I think what the thing that people really need to understand is that we are emotional beings,
Yeah.
and that you're doing a huge disservice to yourself if you put your emotional well-being aside, whether it is through putting yourself second, sacrificing, ignoring, and you really want to give yourself the gift of freedom. And
Mhm.
so, whether it's through the work that I do, but there are many other people in the world that do similar work. Whoever it is that inspires you and that you feel called to do this work with, I highly recommend that you do
Well,
it.
that's why I really wanted you on the show because if I add other people that do very similar work, but not many that are concentrating on the business side too. It's like a lot of like I was just watching Margaret Paul. I don't know if you know who she is. She's amazing. She's like 87. She does a lot of inner child bonding, inner child work. So it's look. I think it's safe to say that most of our challenges come from childhood programming. And yeah, it's just not, you just can't think your way out of it. You have to kind of feel, release, surrender to it, be compassionate about it. So, I would imagine not everybody is coachable. I mean, if
Yeah,
because I'm a coach myself, I know that, you have to really, you got to be committed, not just interested, because it gets sticky and it gets challenging. But what I say, because I think a lot of people are afraid to go deep. And I say it's a lot harder to continue living the way you're living than to just put in this work because then you're free. Because I mean, I am
yeah,
100% better than I was, 20 years ago, but
yeah,
I'm
yes.
still not where I want to be. I still, I had energy. I mean, I've had everything, Brett, with energy healing. I mean, I've done it and I do my practices every day, but I still feel there's some stickiness in there that I
Yeah,
still could release it.
yeah, yeah,
'Cause I want to be
absolutely.
the best version of myself.
Exactly. We want to really be the best that we can be, and we want to make sure that the time, look, for everything that's happening in the world right now, we know that time is limited. So we want to make sure that we use this life to have a good experience, a happy,
Exactly.
an abundant
Hey guys,
experience.
okay, let's talk skincare. For most of my adult life, I had a hate relationship with my skin. I struggled with adult acne, discoloration, large pores, psoriasis, and fine lines. I swear, all that changed when I started using herbal face food. I mean, this stuff is powerful. We're talking the world's most potent antioxidant and anti blemish formula. And the serum is the number one anti aging serum in the world, made entirely from 100% botanical plants. No chemicals, no synthetics, 100% all natural. Whether you're dealing with fine lines, dark spots, sun damage, rosacea, psoriasis, melasma, or just want that all day healthy glow, Herbal Face Food has your skin covered. Literally. I've been using all their products for 3 years now, and let me tell you, it's like green juice for your face, only stronger. Remember, whatever you put on your skin goes in your body. So, this is a really important point here, seeing that it's 100% all natural. Give it a try. It's got 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. Check them out at herbalfacefood.com and use promo code TINA20 for 20% off your entire order. That's herbalfacefood.com because your skin deserves the
Exactly. An
best.
abundant experience. So if you stay in denial or you stay in the dark of what part of your past is contributing to the things that are happening in your life right now, then it's going to be a mediocre life. It's not going
Yeah,
to be an excellent life, right?
exactly.
And
Exactly.
so
And that's
we
going to
don't
bring
want
you
to
more
shine you.
sadness, more envy, more resentment. Those are all really low
And
emotions.
what you resist persists. So the more you
Exactly.
resist looking at it, the more it will persist.
Right.
And
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. What's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way is to my phone.
Okay. Are you willing to give that number? I don't know if you want to give
Well,
it.
no, no, not on the podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say on Facebook. Yeah.
On
Through
Facebook?
yeah,
Okay. And what's
Facebook
your handle on Facebook?
at I think it's facebook.com/real Micaela Passe.
You're gonna and also your website. What's the name of your website?
Loveyourevolution.com.
That's gonna be easy to remember too, because they can contact you there too, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, perfect. Well, I have a call scheduled with you on Monday. I'm
Hey,
looking
looking
forward
forward
to
to
it.
it. Yeah,
So thank you so much for coming on the show. It's really been a pleasure, and I've learned a
for
lot.
having
So I will see you on Monday. And everybody
me.
else, thank you for listening and joining today. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. And we will see you next week with another great guest.